Hello friends, today we will start the third module of the NCERT Class 9 History chapter, Nazism and the Rise of Hitler. In the previous module, we studied why the First World War was fought and, upon its end, what the result of the Treaty of Versailles meant for Germany. In today's module, we will understand what the effect of the First World War was on the entire continent of Europe. When the First World War ended in 1918, economic and psychological crises descended upon Europe. Up till now, the European continent used to lend to others. But after the First World War, Europe got caught in a web of debt itself. From a continent of creditors, it turned into one of debtors. The Weimar Republic was under the burden of war guilt and national humiliation. Unfortunately, the Weimar Republic, which was just in an infant stage, was being made to pay all the debts. Germany was under a great economic burden, as it was a country that alone had to pay compensation. The entire burden fell on the Weimar Republic. After paying all the money to the Allies, this government was economically crippled. Those who supported the Weimar Republic, mainly socialists, Democrats, and Catholics, came to be known as November criminals. This was because the end of the war and the signing of the Treaty of Versailles had taken place in November. This mindset had a major impact on the political developments of the 1930s. These were the economic effects. But did this war have an effect on society and its polity? Polity means a politically organized unit. The first change that came was in people's thinking. They believed that every man should be like a soldier, not a civilian. Politicians and publicists portrayed the image of men as being strong, aggressive, and masculine. Publicists, that is journalists, glorified trench life. Trenches are long and huge ditches or pits that are dug out during a war for soldiers to lie inside and fire at the enemy, to hide inside and fire at the enemy, while also remaining safe from enemy fire. However, the truth was that soldiers lived miserable lives in these trenches, where they were trapped with the dead bodies of other soldiers. They faced poisonous gas and enemy shelling, that is, enemy firing. Wars were glorified and national honor was given importance very aggressively. Germans were giving up democratic ideas for conservative dictatorship. Conservative dictatorship refers to an authoritarian regime in which a single authority or person is in power and takes all the decisions himself. Democracy was a very young and feeble idea at that time and could not survive the instabilities of interwar Europe, of post-war Europe. The period between the First and Second World Wars is called the interwar period. Let us now revise what we have studied today. After World War I ended in 1918, Europe emerged on the brink of economic failure. It became a continent of debtors instead of one of creditors, which it used to be. Germany's Weimar Republic paid off the entire war compensation, becoming economically crippled itself. The German population blamed the Weimar Republic's supporters, socialists, Democrats, and Catholics, for this humiliating defeat. They called them the November criminals. They were no longer enamored of the democratic, socialist, or Catholic ways of thinking. German society's way of looking at things changed. They began appreciating the military way of life and felt that all civilians should also follow a soldierly lifestyle and be strong, aggressive, and masculine. War and issues related to war were glorified. Democratic ideas were belittled, and conservative dictatorship was upheld as a better option.